to the Accrued Interest Podcast. Today's episode, Sunday Scaries, April 20th, 2025. Resurrection of the Economy. Praying for tariffs to pass over us all. Over the last 3 weeks since Liberation Day, thousands of American businesses have been crucified on the altar of bad economic policy. After some initial volatility, financial markets have finally calmed. However, instead of suffering in silence, I have noticed the bloodstains of small and medium-sized businesses becoming more visible for the world to see. Whether or not the economy recovers in 3 months or 3 years depends on how quickly this crisis is resolved. Similar to the supply chain disruptions we witnessed during the pandemic, a substantial portion of transcontinental trade has effectively ground to a halt. CNBC reported on this last week in an article entitled Trade War Fallout. Cancellations of Chinese freight trips begin as bookings plummet. The article had a chart I witnessed go viral on financial Twitter, showing overall U.S. imports falling a sharp 64% the first week after the tariffs. I think most people can easily imagine how bad it is economically when a bunch of importers suddenly cancel their orders. What I believe is less well understood is the cascading ripple effects this cessation in economic activity causes across the many businesses, some of which probably consider themselves safe. The article goes on to highlight this fact. The impact of the diminished freight container traffic to North America will be significant for many links in the economy and supply chain, including the ports and logistics companies moving the freight. What that means in layman's terms is fewer imports will lead to decreased crane operators at the ports, lower fees that could be collected, and declines in container pickups and transports by trucks, and to warehouses for storage. Basically, a whole are going to be eating less, not just the importers. One place where the anguish of business owners is starting to show up is Reddit. On the subreddit called R Small Business, you can see for yourselves the different owners freaking out in real time as they realize how much of their costs will go up due to the tariffs. When I'm not scouring the markets for new investments, I unwind with casual and retro video games. Anecdotally, I've noticed several small and medium businesses that make retro game consoles have been broadcasting to their followers the pain the tariffs have been putting them through. The tech site Gizmodo covered the phenomenon quite well in their article, Trump Tariffs May Kill Super Cheap Retro Handhelds, but they won't kill what made them popular. While the biggest manufacturers like Nintendo can come up with workarounds, smaller hobbyists who program DIY versions of classic games could see their businesses wiped out overnight. For example, Gizmodo profiled the Anbernic RG35XX, a modern classic Game Boy-style handheld game, whose price would go from over $50 to $90 to $200 at minimum. These are not businesses where the customer can absorb 80 to 300% price increases. The website The Verge profiled another retro video game maker, but this time it wasn't necessarily the size of the tariffs, but the lack of details that hurt the business owner. The company, RetroTink, wanted to prepay their upcoming tariff bills, but ultimately had to cancel product shipments due to lack of guidance on how tariffs will be collected starting May 2nd. Without proper procedures in place, the risk of delays and lost packages is simply too high. I share these two examples to help you imagine the difficulties that thousands of small and medium businesses across the country have been dealing with ever since the tariffs were announced. Large public companies such as Amazon or Walmart have the financial resources to withstand a business disruption for 90 days. More modest-sized organizations will have to take more draconian steps to preserve cash, such as slashing marketing, raising prices, and laying off workers. This Sunday, I am less worried about financial calamity as I was in prior weeks. However, each week that goes by without a comprehensive trade deal with China will only make the resurrection of the U.S. economy more difficult to achieve. That's it for today's episode. If you enjoyed this, please make sure to follow the Accrued Interest on all our social platforms. To get this essay and other exclusive content delivered to your inbox, please subscribe to accruedinterest.substack.com. Have a great week.